Okay, back again with our book reading, Gods of the Bible. We just finished up signs of the sign of choice, the table of nations, were Sumerians, also Semites, and now we're going to start talking about the next subtopic is Noah and the Watchers on page 171. So here we go. The commentaries on the Bechorot Talmud explicitly state that Noah was not a Hebrew, which is obvious, de signe. In the apocryphal book of Enoch, already mentioned, it is said that the wife of Lamech, Enoch's nephew, gave birth to a child whose appearance raised doubts about its paternity. The newborn's skin was not the same color as that of the native. It was white and rosy. His hair was white, and his eyes were so beautiful and clear that they seemed to shine. Lamech told his father, Methuselah, that his wife had given birth to a son who did not look like a man, but like a child of the angels. He suspected his son had been fathered by one of the guardians. Methuselah turned to his father, Enoch, who assured him that the child was indeed from Lamech and should be called Noah. In the Book of Giants, found in the Qumran manuscripts, the epilogue of the same story offers some thought-provoking insights. In chapter, I don't know what the CVI, Lamech, seeing that the child is different from him, flees to his father Methuselah, who advises him to go to Enoch and ask him for clarification, as Lamech says. His dwelling place is with the Watchers. It should be mentioned at this point, as already extensively described in chapter 6, the canonical Bible says that Enoch, the patriarch, literal translation, this is taken from Genesis 5:22 and 24, walked, went, traveled back and forth with the Elohim after he had fathered Methuselah 300 years, and he fathered sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years, and he walked, went, traveled back and forth with the Elohim, and he was no more because the Elohim took him. The text says twice that Enoch went, traveled with the Elohim. The verb is in a particular construction, indicating the intensity and repetitiveness of the action. Therefore, the meaning can be described as going to and fro, as detailed in chapter 6. The Bible tells us that he accompanied the Elohim constantly and repeatedly. They went back and forth together. The book of Genesis is very laconic in the description of the story, which is instead told in great detail in the apocryphal books. In the latter, we find descriptions of Enoch's journeys accompanied by angels, the so-called vigilants, watchers, or guardians. Let us summarize here Enoch's adventures as they were described in the apocryphal books. Enoch ascends to heaven, to a beautiful house where he encounters God. He is taken to various places, even underground. He flies to a place in the desert dominated by fire. Then he moves in different directions to the ends of the earth. He receives from the Watchers, guardians, astronomical knowledge and the order of the cosmos, the sun, the moon, its phases, the lunar year, the orbits of the planets, knowledge that Elohim possessed to a great extent because they were space people. We understand why Lamech wants to know Enoch's opinion. He knew he was very familiar with the world of the Watchers, guardians, and the lords above. He accompanied them regularly and went with them without dying. This tradition is widely accepted because it is also found in Sirach 14:16 and the New Testament in the letter to be Hebrews 11:5. Enoch meets his son Methuselah and asks him the reason for his visit. Methuselah explains that the son was born to Lamech, whose appearance does not correspond to that of the people. So there is a well-founded fear that it is not Lamech's child. Enoch reassures Methuselah and emphasizes that this child will be saved when all the people on earth die. We learn here that there are plans for this child who bears an incredible resemblance to the Watchers. Humanity and life on earth will be restored through him and his descendants. So a remarkable decision was made about Noah that affects all future humanity. After his extra-biblical digression, we return to the Bible to highlight some of the aspects that can take on interesting new meanings in light of what we said about the patriarch Enoch, who went back and forth with the Elohim. As described in the previous chapters, particularly chapter 7, the interbreeding between the sons of Elohim and the daughters of the Adam had nefarious consequences for humankind. Mixing the two species did not please God, Genesis 6, to summarize. The crossbreeding between the two races is reprehensible. The Elohim decides to exterminate humanity with a flood. Noah is destined to restore humankind. In light of what has just been said, consider Genesis 6:9, where Noah is defined as follows. And we'll start this again because the customer just came. We're going to start back on page 173. See you guys in a minute.